In this video, I want to talk about 3 steps to become financially free. And you might be thinking, okay, Bell, who is this guy and how do you know these secrets and how do you know that these secrets will work for you as well? Literally 10 years ago, I was in the same position. I was working at a minimum wage job. I was earning £1,500 a month, and 10 years it took me that long time to discover these secrets after reading at least, I will say, 50 different books on a financial education, watching like thousands and thousands of different videos on YouTube, and I narrowed down to these 3 secrets, which really took me from earning £1,500 a month to making £15,000 a month in the terms of profit from my e-commerce business. So these are like a super helpful, to be honest with you. They're literally gonna change the way you think about money. They're gonna change the way you're gonna go ahead from here. So without any delay, just hit the subscribe button, like button. It is completely free. Let's get started with the 3 secrets. So the first secret, which I discovered like 10 years ago before I even started my journey, and I came across a book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That book might be 10 to 15 pound. You can buy off Amazon if you prefer reading it. But if somebody who is into audiobook, there is a free version of that on a YouTube as well. I'm gonna leave the link for that inside the description. You can check it out on YouTube. And that book talk about planning of becoming financially free. That's like a first chapter of it. And it doesn't just talk about, okay, if you're thinking about becoming financially free, you can think about, okay, expensive cars, nice house. You actually have to define what becoming financially free means to you. You have to define like how much money you want to make and how long you want to wait to make that particular money as well. You need to write the whole plan, and I'm going to talk about it by giving my example, and I will tell you how this book actually helped me to plan my journey as well. So 10 years ago, I thought about like, okay, what is financially free means to me, because every different person going to have a different definition. So I thought, okay, well, in the UK, I live in the United Kingdom. If somebody is making £100,000 every single year in terms of profit, like take home, that person can have a really decent life. They can afford to buy a decent house. They can afford to buy a decent car. They can provide good food for their family. So if I am making £100,000 every single year, that is my definition of becoming financially free. So obviously you can become filthy rich, with these secrets as well. But the thing is, like, this is endless rabbit hole of desires. After you have one house, you're gonna think about buying a palace, or maybe have a Tesla. You may be thinking about, okay, now I wanna buy a Lamborghini. Those are super luxuries. But in my definition, a very comfortable life, you can even call it a very luxury life. I think somebody can live £100,000 every single year. So that was my goal. This is what I need to earn every single year. And the book talk about you need to write that down. How much money you want to make at the end of the year. This is something needs to be written down somewhere. And also on the top of that, you need to also think about, with that money, what are the things that you need to buy. Either it is your house, it is the car, it is supporting your kids for, receiving education inside the university, so they don't need to take, let's say, a student finance and all that kind of stuff as well. You need to write it down on a piece of paper. And trust me, it really helped me. I wrote that down. Like, this is the money which I wish to earn. This is what I want to buy with my money. And this is how much I need to make every single month to achieve that goal. And Napoleon Hill talk about every morning when you wake up, and it might sound weird, but it is super helpful. You need to read that loudly so you can hear yourself back. I need to make £100,000. My one was like 2 pages long, to be honest with you, because I planned down to narrow detail. This is how much money I need to make this week or next week. you have to have a clear numbers. Like, it's not enough just think about, okay, I'm gonna buy this car, I'm gonna buy this house. Which house? How much that house gonna cost? How much is the price for that particular house? So Napoleon Hill talk about, once you read it, you actually start to believe in that one. And that is super important, because he give an example in that book, like, say, if you are listening to something, even that thing is not true, but if you hear it enough over the period of time, again and again, you start to believe in it. So it is super important, once you wake up every single morning, you need to read that plan to yourself. This is the first secret, and it helps a lot. Let's talk about second secret now. Now the second secret is actually from the same book as well, is having a faith. And this is super important, because you've written all the plan. You have to have a faith in your abilities as well. And how I managed to have a faith in myself, it is very simple. One day I was just driving around in London. I was looking at different buildings, and I thought to myself, okay, well, these buildings or these expensive cars, they actually belongs to someone. Like, somebody actually bought them. They actually earned enough money to buy these things as well. And I truly believe that every person is born with the same levels of abilities in their brain. It is entirely up to person that how much they choose to unlock by consuming the knowledge at the end of the day. Every person is going to have a different IQ, which is entirely going to depend on how much of that brain portion you manage to unlock with the proper knowledge and the skills which you're going to learn at the end of the day as well. But you are born exactly the same. Everybody have a same ability and a capacity to unlock that. So if someone can choose to unlock it and they can buy each and everything, all the buildings, why I can't buy those things as well? And that's the thought which I had in my mind. To unlock that, whatever the thing you are going to decide, which will take you to become financial free, most likely it's going to be a business, which I'm going to talk about in a third secret as well. You need to believe that you can actually do that, and the plan that you have written for yourself, you can actually achieve that one day as well, because having a faith is super important. Napoleon Hill give an example about Mahatma Gandhi, who was a freedom fighter in India. The man had nothing, but the only thing which he had, a faith and vision. Is not talking about his personal belief like being a Hindu or Muslim or, Christian or Jewish. He's talking about fighting for millions of different people and then give them their own country, having an independent nation. That was his faith, and he truly had a belief even though he had nothing. So that's having a strong faith that you can actually do it. It is super important. If you're looking to become financially free, you need to believe in your plan. Okay, the third thing, this is super important, because now we have a plan, we have a faith, and now this is time to learn and take action, because this is going to be holy mother of each and everything. Now, what to learn and what to take action, because obviously we need some clarity around that as well. I'm going to give you a couple of examples the way I did it as well. You can take an inspiration from this one. I'm going to give you a couple of examples to just think clearly about it as well. A lot of people nowadays, like, they talk about, okay, well, you need to save enough for your retirement. You need to invest the money in S&P 500 or in a Tesla or in that company, and over the period of time that money will become blah 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 blah. We hear all that, but it doesn't work for most of people. Let me tell you why. Most of the people, they are living paycheck to paycheck. We do not have enough money left over to put in some kind of saving account or put in some kind of stock exchange or anything like that. I give you one example. I don't want to make it super complicated for the people who do not understand that, but just give you one example. Now, most of the people, they can hardly put £100 inside a saving account. Let's say you put that money inside a index fund S&P 500. S&P 500 on average will pay you 6 to 7% in a good case scenario every single year. So the £100 that you have invested, you put that on a side, now became £107 after 1 year. This is a formula of S&P 500. But the secret which I learned from here is rather than investing in S&P 500, you invest in S&Me 500. You invest that money in yourself by learning the skill. And based on that skill, you can actually start a business. Luckily, in a time where we are living in 2023, there are a lot of different skills which we can learn. There are a lot of different businesses that we can start, online, offline. And the business isn't something which have to be entirely new idea. Most of the businesses which are started successfully, for example, Apple, it's not a new idea. Nokia was making a phone way before that. They had all the technology, everything. But somebody comes along, they do the things in a better way and they provide more value to the people as well. So the money is in a direct relation of value. How much value you can give it to somebody in exchange of that, this is how they're gonna give the money back to you. So how we create a value? First of all, invest in yourself, S&Me 500. So you're thinking about an e-commerce business, the way I started an e-commerce business. There are way too many, a lot of free videos on YouTube, how to start selling on Amazon, or how to start writing blogs, or how to start earning money as a graphic designer or as a video editor. You need to do here 100 hours of homework, like a Gary Vaynerchuk talk about it a lot as well. Before we start any kind of side hustle, you need to spend enough time to do your homework, which I call a Gary Vaynerchuk call 100 hours of homework to actually learn how these things work at the end of the day as well. Now, a lot of people do not have a desire to learn because they don't have the first two fundamental clear, because that's why I talk about it, plan and faith. And then because you have a faith, now you know this is how I'm gonna execute my plan. So you need to do 100 hours of homework, really learning the skill which is gonna make you financially free. And you have to have a faith in that one as well. Because you're gonna have a strong faith, then you're gonna take action at the same time. And taking action is super important, but taking action doesn't mean you have to start everything perfect, like entirely perfect from a first day. Starting something imperfectly is way better than thinking about perfection and not starting as well. So speaking of taking action, let's start taking action. First of all, by hitting the subscribe button and like button. And if you like these type of video, let me know inside the comments. I am planning to do more of that as well. And this particular video right here is going to help you massively. Like literally that helped